The secret of your future is hidden in your routine. The day I got into medical school was one of the happiest I've ever felt because I didn't just get in the regular way, I screwed up the first time. But the very next year, I transferred through an extremely competitive program where I was one of 8 people that got accepted out of hundreds and the only international student that got in. This transfer required me to be the top student in my cohort, not just for grades, but for everything. Passion projects, volunteering, research papers, all of it. I was the GOAT. And honestly, it wasn't because of how special I am or something. It was number one, because of how much I wanted it. And number two, what I did day in, day out. My routine. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through that exact routine, the specific step-by-step of exactly what got me to that level. What time I did everything, why I studied this specific way and not that, when I worked, when I slept, all of it. But this isn't going to be some perfect, balanced, healthy routine where I tell you exactly when I wake up and sleep and do all of this. No, because that is what every other person on YouTube is selling you. I've probably sold you that and it is fake. So if you need some floofy fake video like that, then honestly click off. Because to be honest, what I'm about to tell you is probably going to piss you off because you're going to realize how far behind you are and how much you actually have to get done. So only keep watching if you want the reality, the hardcore truth of how to get to that level. The second I got out of my bed, I would jump to my desk chair and sit and start working immediately for at least 30 minutes to an hour. And I haven't really told this to anyone because honestly it feels quite extreme and a bit disgusting because stinky breath, no shower, no food, no phone. I jump on my desk, laptop open, boom, 1 minute into waking up, I'm doing hard, high energy tasks, doing questions, revising, working on scripting new videos, or back then writing articles, doing research projects. And the reason I was working straight away just 1 minute after waking up wasn't because I wanted to be super productive. It was because the work I had was stuck in my head. I was anxious about it. It was all I could think about because I wanted to be the best. I wanted to do it all. So starting by doing the most important hard task of the day, the most important thing that I could get done, getting it done as soon as I woke up made me feel good. It made me feel like I accomplished something. And that's why doing this is so great, because it's so simple and you set the rest of your day up perfectly. You don't need some random long routine to start your morning. In fact, if you start 60 to 90 seconds after waking up, you will find it so easy to easily slip into that flow state. Because the delta theta waves that you have, your brain state as soon as you wake up in that time, is very close to how it is when you're doing deep focused work. And I didn't know this, I just read this a few days ago, but what I did know is that doing work straight away primed my brain. So even though the first few moments of this, you're groggy, you're yawning, in 10 minutes, I can guarantee that you will be more focused than you ever have. You will be working very quickly. So honestly, go do it. It's not easy, but that's the point. So after that hour of work, right as soon as I woke up, I would now leave my room, greet everyone, grab chai, get breakfast. Breakfast was always eggs, spend 30 minutes on it, and then back to focused work. I was back at my desk for 3 to 4 more hours from around 10 to 2 p.m. My phone was away, no distractions, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., no breaks. Focused work. In this morning session, I'd be doing the main hard work that I had to do in terms of the studying that I had to get done. I was doing my recall questions, testing myself, pushing my memory harder and harder, and then going back to the resources to learn what I couldn't remember and revise it in a better way so that I remember it better for the next time. And the key here was that this was the time where I was most diligently doing this entire active recall, recalling with the questions, my entire study process. I was doing it the most diligently, and I was continuously working on improving my studying process. And that's the thing, people commend me on my ability to learn quickly, study very little, and still do extremely well. I know this sounds like I'm showing off, but you know what? I'm not the one who's actually putting any effort anymore. Past me did. That's the guy that was revising every single day, relying on active testing methods, relying on making no notes, efficient techniques. Hours and years of work was put into the studying process for me to now have this studying be something that is very effortless. And after all of those years of effort, has it now resulted in my learning skill being at this level, my ability to absorb information faster than ever, being so good that I can make videos about it and teach people about it. But the reason I'm telling you this is because this applies to everything that you're doing right now. Your routine this week determines what your life will look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now. That's why it's important to get through and do the hardest things every day, to keep improving the way you study, the way you learn, to delay gratification, and to keep improving at your craft. It'll do absolutely nothing for you right now, but it will help future you in the most unimaginable way possible. Now back to the routine. Around 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I did all that work, and I finished the work. 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. I was always aware that my focus levels would take a dip. And the thing is, I was aware of my focus levels, my energy levels throughout the day. That's how much I had diligently looked at my routine, the way my brain worked, and studied myself to understand exactly when I start feeling tired. So it was always during that time that I would need food and a recovery period to charge up those focus levels again. And I say the word recovery very specifically because your focus isn't something that you turn on and off. It is a 4-step cycle that ends in a recovery period. But this doesn't just mean leaving your work and going on your phone and blooping and messaging and scrolling. It means getting up, saying hi to your mom, going to pray, going to eat some fruits, have some nutritious food, and then go to work out. You need to work out through any means necessary. You need movement. Even if you want to be doing 12-hour, 14-hour, hard, long work days, you can always make time for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever it is, of movement, of exercise. During that year when I was transferring to medicine, I was really extreme and about my time. And it was because I knew the gym was a whole 2 to 3 hour activity. It was a whole thing that I had to take time out for. So what I did instead was I stayed home and did high intensity interval training at home. In my head, I just couldn't waste any time. And those HIIT workouts, I did them for 45 minutes. They would absolutely drench me, destroy me. It was push-ups, burpees, all the body weight stuff, and then I'd finish off with some dumbbell exercises. Some days I'd do during that break in that day, or some days if my work was pushing, then I would just naturally just leave the workout till the end of the day. But regardless, I made sure it got done. And the reason I did this is because of this one mindset that actually clicked in my head after watching a new video recently. Because we all know the days we don't have movement, we don't exercise, we don't go for walks, if those days keep piling up, our mood, our energy levels, or the amount of work we get done, all of it lowers, all of it starts to suck. So all I had to do is to tell myself, don't choose misery, go move your butt at least once a day. Now obviously it goes without saying that if you have classes throughout the day, go attend those classes and do the deep work sessions before and after. You don't have to follow exactly the routine that I'm giving you. But the key advice here is that throughout the day, you have to work in every gap that you have. If I had an hour between lectures, even 30 minutes, I'd go to the library, I'd go to a cafe and just start to work. And it was always tactical. I always did the relatively easier stuff in those gaps and I always piled it up together. All the small tasks, getting them done is an incentive in those small gaps. If I pick something difficult to do, I'm just not gonna be bothered to do it. Anyways, for the rest of the days, if I was home, after that workout, I would be doing another big deep work session for another 4 hours, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. But the majority of the days, I was in university the majority of the time. I had classes, I had stuff to do. So after all of that stuff had ended, after all the classes had finished, I'd stay back 90% of the time. Again, I just go to the library, the reception, and just sit there and start working. It was simple. That was just the routine because I knew if I'd go home at 4 to 5 like everyone else, I knew I wouldn't do work. I'd just start eating or get lazy or start watching something or go do social stuff because apparently I'm free, or feel tired or I want to sleep after all this long hard day of work. But because I stayed back then, and even to this day, I stay back in hospital or the reception or whatever, I work for 3 to 4 hours every single day after everything is finished because I didn't leave without getting everything that I wanted to get done. Every day I was effortlessly working towards the big meaningful goals that I had. I was able to revise extremely consistently and do all the work that was necessary, and that is what made the difference. That is what separates you from everyone else. Even now in placement, I do this because it means I'm continuously working towards the big, highly important, meaningful goals outside of going to class and going to the gym, because everyone and their uncles can get that done. But very few can actually say that they do all this other high effort stuff. All because I set this routine for myself, and it means I'm continuously working towards all the things that actually matter regardless of the circumstances. This is not a normal routine. This is, you have to adopt the mentality of sacrifice. I don't want to overlook this part because again and again, every day you have to sacrifice some part of your normal life. The random friendships, 90% of social activities and trips, staying up late, watching movies, wasting time, doing all this stuff that isn't necessary. It all just will end up being very low priority in your life. It'll be extra stuff that you don't really want to prioritize. But I'm assuming if you've watched this far, you are someone that's willing to do that. You have a higher purpose-driven goal, and trust me, I know. Because I've not just done this that one time when I got into medical school. I've been consistently doing this, maintaining a high quality of work in medical school. I've built this YouTube channel from scratch. I've worked part-time jobs, all of it at the same time. And whenever I get asked, oh, how do you manage it all? It all must seem so much. I just reply with something like, oh, I don't know, like, it's not that bad to be honest. But it is. It will suck for a while. But that's because you're aiming for something that very very, very few can achieve and actually keep up with. If you want a regular study routine to keep consistent with, then as I said, everyone and their uncles can do that. Literally just find 2 to 3 hours every single day. Do that 5 times a week. Trust me, you'll do well. You'll get good grades. But if you want to fulfill and excel at absolutely everything that you want to do at school, at university, get the top 1% grades, start a business, create a passion project of your own, an audience, be the best physically, spiritually, all of it that you ever have in your life, and so actually start loving the way you're living and loving this monotonous routine, then you need to sacrifice everything that isn't absolutely essential. But that doesn't mean you don't invest in relationships. I call my parents in Pakistan every single day. I visit my cousins, my family here in Manchester every single weekend, and I've done these things for the last 3+ years because it is investing in these things that has kept me sane, kept me happy, kept me grounded in my values. So make time for your family, and this includes making time for the few friends that are so close that you'd call them family, because having that brotherhood with those few people is so valuable because they are your support system. They are the break that you need when it all gets too much. You have fun with them, you chill with them, but you rely on them and they rely on you too. That is the important point. You stop thinking of your family and everything as a support system that you reach out to and only when you need them. You realize that everything that you're doing isn't just to make yourself happy. It's to make everyone around you, all the people that are close to you, improve their lives and make them happier as well. And that, my friends, is the routine. It sucks. It is not perfect. You're legit optimizing your entire day around your work every single second, but you're also doing important things like working out, you're eating nutritious food, you're taking recovery breaks, and you're spending time and investing in the people that are closest to you. That was honestly the majority of my life back when I was aiming for the top of the cohort, and still is even now, but with different goals. This routine was the honest truth. It was monotonous, it was boring, but when I got in the flow, it was one of the happiest, most fulfilling times of my life. Honestly, making this video has made me reflect on myself and made me realize I can actually push myself and level up even more. And the things that would be there to push myself, that I need to push myself with, is to have a stricter diet, have fixed timings for sleeping and waking up, and third, it would be to have more strict weekly schedules that I would follow for myself. Because those things, even for me, someone who already has discipline in their life, will help me, I think, do more in medical school, create 2 videos instead of 1 for this channel, improve my energy levels and my health. And you know what? Those are the actionable things that I will aim to improve in these next few months. This is going to be the commitment that I'm making to you. And so, what is the one actionable thing that you are taking away from this video? What will your commitment be to take your life to the next level? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like, spam the comments, do the usual stuff, and I will see you in the next one.